Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Our judge is out of town, and therefore, as pro tem, I've been asked to preside over the meeting today. Paula, would you start us in prayer?
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this beautiful day, and thank you for the community we live in and all the good people that live with us and do all these things together. Lord, be with our decisions today and make them helpful in a safe way for each person in our community and in our state. And be with each one of us as we go about our days. These things we ask in thy Son's name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Magistrate Bodner. Now, young man, Zyler Koppel-Hughes, would you stand? And I have a question for you. Could you tell us about Space Camp?
It was very fun, and we did a mission simulation, and we made our own rockets and shot them off,
Wow.
and lots of other stuff.
Do we expect to see you in space someday?
Maybe.
So you might be an astronaut. Would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Zyler, if you will come forward, we have a little presentation for you. Let's see. All right, you can hold that because it's yours.
Smile big, astronaut. There you go.
Thank you, sir. And we're all looking forward, especially Magistrate Bodner, to another successful football season. So,
Tom,
player.
can you get Mom wants a picture too?
Oh my goodness,
Here,
yes,
sorry.
yes. One more here. Here with her can. Oh, we want you in here too.
Oh, no,
Oh,
you're
yes,
fine.
yes, yes.
Yes, you gotta take credit.
I didn't even take my back to school pictures.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Zyler, if you like flying on Saturday at the airport, they're having Young Eagles where you can get free, you can go up in an airplane for free. You just gotta sign up for it.
Okay, is that every Saturday?
No, it's just this Saturday. It's
This
a
Saturday.
Young Eagles organization. If you go to the Danville-Bull County Airport Facebook page,
Okay.
there's a link on there where you can sign up for the, to go up for, it's about a 20-25 minute flight. They'll take you up and you can, sometimes they'll let you put your hands on the yoke and everything.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. We have 3 sets of meetings minutes this morning. Let's start out with the July 23rd meeting.
Make a motion we approve.
Motion made
Second.
by Magistrate Cullen, second by Magistrate Bodner. Any discussion on the July 23rd meeting?
Nope.
Do I hear a vote? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Next meeting, special call meeting on the 30th of July. Do I
Make a motion
hear
we
a motion?
approve.
Motion by Magistrate Cullen and a second by Magistrate Bodner. All in favor?
I was giving you a
I
chance.
know, I saw you with your hand up. So.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that passes as well. And now the special called meeting of August 6th. Do I hear a
Motion we
motion?
approve.
Motion by Magistrate
I'll
Cullen.
second that.
Second by Magistrate Sleeper. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? And that passes unanimously as well. Thank you. All right, next, budget transfers. Good morning, Shannon.
We have budget transfers of $38,555 for approval.
Make a motion we approve.
Motion by Magistrate Cullen.
Second.
second by Magistrate Bodner. All in favor? Any discussion, excuse me? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries by unanimous consent. All right, cash transfers.
I have 4 cash transfers today. I have transfer from the general fund to the jail for $208.11, or $208,011.73, and that's the June's jail contribution. Then we have from the Boyle jail fund to the jail restricted, $9,031, and that was for funds we transferred for equipment that we did not use. We want to put it back in the restricted account. Then we just have a $100,000 from the general fund to EMS, and $5,000 from the general fund to fleet.
Make a motion, we approve.
Motion by Magistrate Cullen,
Second.
second by Magistrate Sleeper. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Like sign. And that passes unanimously as well. Approving the bills.
Good morning.
Good morning, Elena.
Thanks, everybody. All right, I sent you all a report bill packet for a total of $546,444.11. I also sent you copies of the tax bills. So one goes to the city of Danville for $1,548,870.80. The other one is going to Boyle County Fiscal Court's General Fund for $1,198,288.56. We're also going to add a $200 Constitution Square security deposit reimbursement onto the bills. And then we're going to pay our Republic Services trash bill for the month as well. And that's $48,761.55. That's going to bring your grand total of all the bills to $3,342,565.02.
Make a motion, we approve.
Motion by Magistrate Cullen, second by Magistrate Harmon. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, like sign. That also passes unanimously. Point of order from the chair of the day. I did not ask 2 important questions. Do we have a quorum?
Yes, we do.
And were we properly notifying all the media?
Yes, we do.
Thank you. Just wanted that for the record. Okay, Ty Howard, there you are, sir. Didn't see you come in. Welcome. Enjoyed meeting you last month.
Good to meet you too, yeah.
Thank you for
Normally I
coming
can't
today.
sneak into rooms because of my height and my hair. I was lucky today.
You're in good company here.
Thank you all for letting me come in and talk to you. I started as, well, Katina. Is Katina here?
It's me.
Right there.
Listen, Katina allowed me to be BCT president for a day. On the
I
agenda it
fixed
says,
it.
it's okay. The original one said I was the president, which sounded great.
Did you make all the changes you need to make for that one day?
Yeah, well, she said today I'm president, so I'm actually the campus director out there. And I started in that position June 1st, and before that I was there for a year as I worked with Student Support Services, which is a federal program that works with students that are in poverty, the first generation college students, or they have a disability, which was, I retired K-12 2 years ago. I was a principal and teacher, and I wanted to get back into something, and that was perfect. Just seeing those students come in, I mean, most of them that come to us, most of them are in their late 20s, 30s, 40s, and even 50s, and life has hit them. They've gotten down, they've been divorced, they've gotten into some bad financial situation, and they're looking for a new start. I mean, it was incredible, just the students that came in. We started with 70 in the program when I was there, and we finished with like 170 this past year. So it's really booming, that program, and with people coming back to try to start their lives again. So it's been wonderful. So they needed a director, and I gladly stepped in. I came today just to give you an update on what we're doing and where we want to go and try to answer any questions and do the best I can. But it's just, I mean, the community and technical college is just people don't know what a gym it is and how big of a asset it is to our community. When I say community, I mean Danville and all the surrounding counties, because we've got students from every single one of them. And I wanted to talk to you about the programs if you had any questions, and I'll quickly go through them. Of course, we've got the Associate in Science and Arts, which are the academic side. Then we've got the technical programs, which attracts a lot of attention, and that's some of those are computerized manufacturing and machining. That's the CMM program, and they let that drop off in the past year, so we're trying to bring it back. So I'm trying to add some classes because there's a lot of interest from industry, because that's where they pull their employees from. And so we're working on getting that program back because we've got an awesome lab. We've got the EMT program and the paramedic program, and they've expanded that this fall with a lot of night classes. The AMC, the Advanced Manufacturing Center, they've got 3 programs there, and that's electrical technology, industrial maintenance, and integrated engineering. And if you have not been to that lab, it is incredible. They added that like 5, 6, 7 years ago with a lot of contributions from lots of different industries. I think Fiscal Court added some.
We did.
Yeah, it is incredible. The robotics they've got in there, it's just incredible. If you haven't been through there, you need to. That program is really doing well. The classes are full, so I'm trying to add classes because we've got dual credit students that want to come in there from our high schools, and there's just no room. So I'm trying to add some, and I'm trying to find some instructors, some adjunct instructors for all these programs. So if you all have any leads on someone that might be qualified, that'd be great.
What kind of qualifications would they have to have?
Well,
because life experience can really.
That's the biggest one. If they've got industry experience, they can do it. A lot of times, a lot of them just have to have an associate's. Some of these, they don't have to have an associate's. They just have to have experience in the industry. It kind of depends on the program, and the program coordinators and the academic side determine that. So I kind of try to organize it all and tell everybody what we need, and I try to recruit people to teach it and to take the classes. But then the academic side, which is based in Lexington, they manage the programs and the academics and the credentials needed, and if the students finish and get the credential. But if you're interested, I can send you all the qualifications. Other ones we've got, the big one we've got is practical nursing. There are 35 students starting. It's a year-long program. It's the licensed practical nursing program, and that's been there for a long time. I mean, it's over 20 years, and got an incredible staff. And then we've got welding, which as I've been talking this summer with people, they want more classes because they are full during the day. There were no night classes. There were hardly any night classes out there. So we've added a lot for this fall, and that was a struggle because faculty's only employed 10 months out of the year. They're not employed during the summer, so I had a hard time getting them to approve adding classes. So I was able to get a welding class added, and it's already getting full at night, 6:30, 8:30, and starts.
And they get certification.
Yeah, they work towards certification. Yes, all these skill programs you work towards certification, and there's a lot of short-term certificates along the way that you can get in 1, 2, 3, or 4 classes as you're working towards, an associate's in a program finish. But welding's big, so I found an instructor for that to do a night class that we're going to start. Some of the short-term certificates, I mentioned those. I wanted to tell you about those. And I've got a sheet of paper. I can leave all this information with you. But I was successful in adding 6 night classes, and those were mainly in business because I had access to a lot of instructors. But someone can get a data entry operator in just 2 classes. And so we've added those 2 classes starting in October, and they can get that certificate and be employable right away. I've had a couple of people come from the fast food industry, so a couple of restaurants they want to improve their lives, and so they're going to try to take that. A receptionist can get it in 12 credits, which is 4 classes, and then there's financial assistant clerk and financial assistant trainee, and those are in 4 or 5 classes. Business administrative systems, we've got team leadership and supervisory management certificates, and we've got classes starting October. And a lot of the industry are interested in that, in their current employees, to try to get them some leadership skills. And so we're going to offer those short-term certificates. And then real estate. I'm having a hard time finding a real estate instructor. And all you have to do is have your realtor's license and associates in anything. So I've reached out to a lot of the realtors here, haven't gotten a lot of response. So, you know, they're hard working on their business and trying to move some property. But yeah, if you know anybody that would be interested in teaching a course in real estate, we actually have 2. They can get their real estate pre-licensing in 2 classes, and we're offering both those classes back to back starting October for 8 weeks in the evenings. So if any real estate, any realtor would be interested in doing that, let me know. Electrical technology has got 3 short-term certificates. Industrial electrician level 1, then level 2, and then automation and robotics level 1. And those certificates we offer out there. Industrial maintenance, we've got electrical mechanic and then mechanic level 1, those 2 short-term certificates. Phlebotomist, that's a big program for us out there. They can become a phlebotomist in 8 credits, which is 2 classes. We're trying to add, I wanted to talk to the healthcare providers in the county and all around about medical coding. They used to have the medical coding program out there and the certificate, but it's gone. But I would like to add that. But there's got to be, if I can find an instructor, and then if the healthcare industry providers say, yes, we want to get that back, if there's a demand, then they'll let me add that. And then they can get their medical receptionist in 15 credits. Welder helper, they can get it in 2 to 5 credits. And then gas welder and tack welder, 4 and 10 credits. So there's a lot of opportunity if anybody wants to change what they're doing. I've tabled this past Saturday, no, it was the Saturday before, at the farmer's market. Met a lot of people, and I had a gentleman that lives in Danville that's an ER nurse in Louisville. And he's getting ready to switch. He wants to become a welder. And so he's going to start taking our welding class. And he's tired of traveling to Louisville. He wants to weld. He's always passionate about it. So there's a lot of stories like that about people wanting to change what they're doing. A couple other things, and I'm going to let you all get on with your meeting. Dual credit. That is, I don't know if you all have had children to go through high school, but if you can get them to take dual credit, they can start college as a sophomore or even a junior if they really hustle with dual credit classes. And they're practically, it doesn't cost much at all. You can get an associate's for just $4,000 out of pocket, because there are scholarships that pay for 2 classes a year, I think, or is it a semester? Go back and look at that. For the students, and it only costs half the, BCTC's per credit hour is $7.76, which is, no, I'm sorry, it's $186. It's $7.76 for 3 credits. It's the lowest in the state. And so dual credit students only pay $92. And then they've got a scholarship to pay for most of that. Something that's coming up. We've got a manufacturing day, November 8th. And we have a lot of the high schools come through. They look at all of our programs. There's presentations to see what they're interested in. So we invite all the high schools. There's about 12 high schools we're going to invite. They came last year. But we're also going to invite industry in the area to come and table and talk to these students and anybody that's interested in manufacturing. So that's on November 8th. I'll send everybody an update on that. Just one other thing I wanted to tell you about the enrollment. So most of BCTC's enrollment is online. There's about 8,000 students online, and there's probably 13,000 enrolled. So our on-campus enrollment last year, as of November 1st, was 298, which is low. And so we have already exceeded that as of yesterday. We were at 310. And we haven't even added our dual credit students yet, so that's going to be about another 50 at least. So we're still adding students up until that last 8-week session, and it starts in October. So we're hoping that we're going to get close to 350, and then we're going to keep going. So we really want to bring this back. I live 10 minutes from campus, so I've been in the community for over 30 years. Thank you all. Have you got any questions?
I just
Go ahead.
comment that a lot of those skills that they learn, electrical and welding, they have good salaries that come with them.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean,
So some kids don't realize that. As a nurse, I told them to, healthcare, but I always told them if you're not interested in healthcare, here's some other things that you can get through.
Yes.
It's a good opportunity.
Yeah, I've been trying to tell my kids that.
Yeah.
I don't have a question either, but I've got a comment. You were saying what a gem BCTC is to our community, and I wholeheartedly agree. I have the exact same thought as you said it. My granddaughter Tommy Sleeper is enrolled in the October welding night class.
Yeah.
She's a high school senior, dual credit, and
That's awesome.
And next term, in the spring term, she plans on taking a dual credit English course. So we're excited about that.
There are if you're in the skilled trades, there's a work ready scholarship, and they can almost get a program for free with the work ready. I mean, it's great. And then dual credit, there's a dual credit scholarship for the ones on the academic side. So yeah, that welding class, we found a gentleman from Nicholasville that is a current welder. Excuse me. He's got his associates, has been doing it for a long time. So he's going to come from Nicholasville to teach that night class for us.
Yeah, the beginning, all the other classes were filled up, so I'm really glad
Yes.
you added the night class.
Yeah, and the class we had is 151, which covers all aspects of welding. It's just an introductory course. So. And I've got two of my nieces that are welders, and they travel the country welding and make over $100,000.
Right.
I mean, it's crazy.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, we're also making a lot of partnerships, and this gentleman is one of them, Bluegrass Biomedical. And so I don't know what the final call was, but we were going to do an apprenticeship program. Is that still on the books, or is that if y'all switched it?
Still on the books, yeah. We were looking at an apprentice program, you didn't mention it, but it didn't suit us. And so basically we've asked BCTC to let them know that we can take their electronics degree people and do internships in the medical field, so we can start.
So we've had Hobart and Timberland, a lot of factories that come, say, listen, we need workers. Can we do an apprenticeship, or can we do, something? Can we recruit? So that's another way we can.
Let me emphasize your comment on we need workers. We're still in a community of 32,000 people. We're over 800 employees short, and many of the disciplines that you have at BCTC prepare these folks for tremendous careers. We want to keep them at home.
Yes, agreed. Anything else? Thank you all.
Thank you
Thank
very
you so
much.
much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right. Next, we have a reappointment to the Ethics Commission. Rebecca Kernodle is not with us today, but I think you're all familiar with her, and I suppose we just need a motion on that, correct?
Make the motion.
I'll second.
All right, motion by Magistrate Cullen, second by Magistrate Sleeper. Any discussion? I'll say, as a constituent of mine and a wonderful, bright lady with a tremendous Christian family, I certainly endorse this renomination. I'll entertain a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. Angie, Muncy, good morning.
Good morning. How is everybody?
Good.
All right, I'll be real quick. We have put in the budget for new compactors at Mitchellsburg and one at Portland. So the one at Mitchellsburg has quit. I've got 30 yards down there, and I really don't, since these are already budgeted in the budget, I really don't feel like spending $4,000 to get it fixed. So we're about, to get this, we'd be about 6 weeks out to get it, so. But if we can hold off on Forkland, or we can just go ahead and order them together, it's your all's pleasure. But I definitely need the one at Mitchellsburg, so I am asking permission to go ahead and get the one at least for Mitchellsburg.
They're in the budget, we'll always get them both.
Both, yeah.
Make a motion, we go
It'd be
ahead.
easier that way.
Motion by
both.
Magistrate Cullen that we proceed with both at the same time. Do I hear a second? Second by Magistrate Sleeper.
Open up
I
your
too
ear for
have
your-
gotten some discussion on this, and the judge told me that we might just be taking the one from Forkland and putting it, but I'm very much in favor of going with both, so, any discussion?
The only thing, notice that you're probably wondering why Forkland is a little higher. That's because Forkland is single phase. A single phase is, believe it or not, more than a 3-phase. So why, I don't know. It is interesting, but
What's the chance of getting 3-phased out there? Is it not close?
I'm not an electrician, Jason.
You
I'm
sure?
sorry, I cannot answer that
I
question.
thought you said you were.
I can find out, but, other than that, I can't answer that question.
It's pretty expensive.
Explore that before.
Well, I
I
mean,
would think it's pretty expensive.
depending on who, I mean, if it's run on the poles, it can come down. I just didn't know if it was available out there.
It probably is just the wire alone, so it costs you at least $1,000.
Save you on.
Well,
Compactor,
is a
though.
single phase
That's just the wire.
less than adequate out there?
It's adequate as
Yeah.
far as it's
Yeah.
Sounds
up
good.
front
I've never
now,
heard of
so
it.
I don't know, I'm not an electrician, so I can't answer that.
All right.
Had a motion and a second, discussion, any more discussion? I'll entertain a vote, all in favor of ordering both of these compactors, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any
Do you need
opposed?
pay on demand?
No.
Okay.
And these are on, we will not have to bid, they are state price contract, and their MMA is listed on their things, so.
Angie, I got a couple of calls, there was a question, and I'm not even sure there's space for this, a second open top at Mitchellsburg, is
It's
that?
already there,
Oh, okay, good.
it's already there. That was a given, but everybody has solutions when there is a problem, so.
That's why I get the phone calls,
Yeah.
we all do, so.
Yeah, we took care of it.
Anything else?
That's all I got, unless you have anything.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, Danny Lay, always good to see you, sir. Come forward.
Thank you, Tom.
And wait a minute now, Danny, we want to take care of you okay?
If I have to sit down, I'm gonna move right over there.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
Thanks, Angie.
If you don't want to object, I'd like to flip the script and do the conservation first. As I told you back in April when we submitted the budget, we'll be asking for the same penny per hundred that we've had the last 5 years. One note to kick in there on the dead animal program. Fiscal year ended, we had 969 pickups for the year, and those were picked up at an average cost of $72.
What was that number again?
$72.
No, how many animals?
969
69 for the year.
for the year. If we add in the money that you all gave us to get the truck back on the road, it's still under $75. 5 years ago, when we tried to get somebody out of the county, it was over 100. So
Still doing
you all can pat yourself on the back there. You made it work.
Are we hearing any problems or concerns where animals aren't getting picked up or?
Not as far as I'm aware.
Okay.
The last tweak we made, I think, took care of everything.
All right, because I remember when we were trying to figure things out after our previous contract didn't work out, there was talks about 2,000 animals a year and 2,500.
We had that one terrible year.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
And so
I think the company that had the contract inflated the numbers a little bit too.
Yeah.
Which is surprising. But anyway, I just want to make sure, so this is a pretty accurate, usual number. Thank you, sir.
Okay, for the extension, I plan to thank Trilly for the work that she's put in for. She provided leadership that always seems to lead to the best outcome. even when I don't know where she's going. Thank Magistrate Cohen and Bodner and all of you for the support that you've given us, not just through the good times, but through some of the growing pains that are a normal part of growth and expansion. I wanted to recognize the agents we have out there. Miss Alethea Bruzek is our Family and Consumer Science agent, and has a boatload of other responsibilities besides just being an agent. If you need anything out of the ordinary when you go in the office out there, she's most likely the person you're going to encounter. So, and that's not to take anything away from Tyler Ray, who continues to pick up leadership responsibilities and does a lot beyond ag too. You know, Kim Ragland's our 4-H agent. We lost an 11-year veteran out there in our horticulture program. Alexis Sheffield has taken the job as state specialist. And we wish her the best on that, but her position is hard. It's dropped a load on everybody else. We hope to soon hire a horticulture agent, but they will have to gradually adjust to the pressure that's out there. I want to recognize Miss Rita Stewart, who's with us today. Rita is kind of an amazing person. In spite of having a dozen counties to supervise, she's kind of like Casper the Ghost. She just always pops up right at the right time to keep us out of trouble and get us through the hard times. So, back to the business at hand. The use of the extension dollars has and continues to follow an accelerated payoff schedule for the construction. We sold those bonds in 2019 for the new construction. The bond sale agreement prevents us from paying anything off the first 10 years. So those bonds won't be eligible into 2029. At the rate we're going, we should have the funds by 27 to pay that off. And they'll just be held in a reserve interest drawing account. A couple of months ago, I had some concern about the limits of FDIC coverage, insurance on the accounts. And I asked our treasurer to shop the local banks and see where we could get fully insured and the most return. Okay, he did that and came back and told us that there was a new program that is under the Farmers Bank umbrella. It's Wealth South, W-E-A-L-T-H. And they could take our funds 100% insured, and he also give us the highest interest rate. When you sit down and put a pen to it, or a bunch of calculators, at the end of the next 5 years, that will be a significant part of the payout on construction. So,
are they FDIC or SBIC?
I'm old school, I don't know.
We'll talk after.
Okay.
I would figure that they would be SBIC because they're,
perhaps,
if they're investment arm, they should be.
I might have dated myself there.
No, it's okay. I was just curious about that. So
now, the problem for future reference, if we can hold the line on community dollars that go into the program, then what happens as the assessments go up, new construction, new building, sales of property, the assessments go up, and at the same input, the rates tick down. We're going to be down a little bit this year. And if it's, like I say, we can forget the rate. We've got community input, and then we tick down to a much more middle of the bell curve level. Don't think for a minute that we've frozen the program delivery at the extension office. Our services to the community continue to grow, not just to fill the additional space, and they are being used, by the way, more than initially, but also to grow and expand the program offerings that we have that our agents deliver. The new programs are continuously being added, and several programs are still under development at the University of Kentucky. They will need to be funded when they come down. They are designed to meet the unmet needs in our community, and our community has a lot of unmet need. For those that are with us or maybe watching online or watch later on a YouTube video, the needs of our communities, which are great, those needs that can be addressed by information and instruction. The agents and staff we have do an excellent job. I'm awful proud of what they do. The needs of our community, we wonder about what programs get funded. We have an extension council. Council made up less than 40 members. I think ours is 32 or 34. We meet 3 or 4 times a year. During those meetings, we submit needs that we need to be addressed. We're always worried about having a quorum, anything over half. Always too many empty seats at the table. So if anyone is interested in how you spend your tax money, or more importantly, the quality of life for your friends and neighbors, those are open meetings. We do ask that you RSVP so we can be prepared for the people that show up. If you're concerned, if you want to become a part of our extension community, jump on Facebook, put in Boyle Extension, not Boyle County, Boyle Extension, and it will give you a menu of programs from which you select one or more that you're interested in, and then you'll get those updates, meetings, and programs and offerings that we have out there. In the end, I hope that we're able to help all the people in those crossroad communities out there that are inside our county borders. Thank you for your time. Are there any questions?
I have a comment.
Yes.
I just want to give a little shout out to Barry Rice here. Is he facility director or what?
Barry Rice is our facilities director out there.
He has been tremendous help for me when we have our task force meeting, making sure we have a room. Even when I forgot to reserve it, we've not given him much notice. He goes in and out to make sure we have a room. So,
and Barry does a great job at what he's
You know, the melding between Mr. Howard having been here and talking about welding and having a wife whose family were self-taught, hopefully there's an interchange between BCTC and the Extension Office, because we need those guys and ladies to stay in our community and be part of our farm families.
I made that note while I was seated over there while ago, he was speaking. Reach out to contact this guy. He's pretty impressive.
your next door neighbors.
And Alethea, every time I've talked to her, she's been so helpful. And she contacts me back immediately, and she's wonderful,
She
really.
is top notch.
Yes.
Thank
Danny,
you.
thank you. Rita, you're here. Any comments?
No, thank you all very much, and we appreciate your support and your working together, and appreciate Danny and our other board members. We couldn't operate without our district board members, of course, so thank him and thank them, but, you know, it is my goal is just to continue strengthening those partnerships that we have with Fiscal Court and other people in our community, and really be the best extension office we can be here, so.
And if I'm correct, Danny remains a cattle farmer, and cattle in this community are among the most important east of the Mississippi River.
That's my passion, not my job.
Thank you both. All right, next.
Hold on, Tom, have we voted on these
Yeah, we have.
rates or?
It's my understanding that we
Yeah, I was gonna-
just
Do we
accept
need to
it.
vote on the rates? We just vote to accept them or like you did last year?
A motion,
Rate is 8.6, down from 9.0 last.
motion,
Hold on, real property is.
Wait a minute, I still
We
got
have-
some more to go. On personal property, it was 21 something, down to 18.08.
Yes. Going in the right direction.
Vehicle property remains flat at 1.3 with no optional taxes on watercraft or aircraft.
any questions?
So real property, 8.6, 18.08 on personal, and 1.3 vehicle.
Yeah, this is going in the right direction. I like it.
But I guess it helps where property taxes.
Property taxes went up.
Assessments
The
are
assessed
up.
values have gone up.
We asked for the same amount of money, so the rate goes separately.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
let's
they
keep
do
it
have-
going in that direction.
Yeah, I like it.
All right, so I'll make
I
a
think
motion, we go ahead and approve, let's do the extension district since it's on there first. The extension district, well, we accept the
Accept,
rates
yeah.
that they proposed.
Motion made by Magistrate Cullen, second by Magistrate Sleeper. Any further discussion? Any comments? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
I'll go ahead and make a motion that we accept the rate for conservation district as well, as stated.
Motion made by Magistrate Cullen. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Magistrate Bodner.
You
Any
guys work it out
discussion?
amongst yourselves.
We're working it.
Yeah.
We're doing it.
Get Barry in here every now and then.
Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous vote. Thank you very much, and thank you today.
Julie, you okay?
All right, Mike Rogers.
Thank you, Magistrate Ellis.
They're bringing them in here for you, Julie.
I have two things to present. I'm gonna let Mo present the cardiac arrest recognition, and then I'll finish with my.
Have a seat, Mike.
Be Johnny today.
Thank you, Mike. So this is something that we're trying to do a little bit more. Our folks, over the past couple of years, have worked tremendously hard with their training, with their efforts to improve their patient care. They already started off with really great patient care, and they're just improving that bar every day. So we wanted to recognize some of them that are here today. I'm going to remain purposely vague just to stay away from any patient confidentiality issues. So with this patient, the crew responded for an adult patient that went unresponsive. CPR was started prior to their arrival, and they were shocked once before EMS got there. After EMS arrived, they shocked the patient 4 more times. So they ended up working that cardiac arrest on this patient for running right around 10-15 minutes. Along with ALS level care, they were able to get a pulse back, successfully get them to the hospital in a relatively stable condition. The patient ended up recovering. They're still getting some rehabilitation services, but they're mentally aware. They're able to talk to their family. They're able to start getting better. That's exactly what we want. For saving a life, we wanted to go ahead and recognize paramedic Brian Ellis. Captain Brian Ellis.
Wait until they are.
Director
Retired.
Yeah,
30 years of service to the county.
I guess he got bored after he retired. So paramedic, Lieutenant Ken Hagan. Japan ENT, Ken.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, picture.
Tom, get in there. Tom, you gotta get in there.
All right,
Oh, yeah.
I think that's perfect right there.
No greater service to mankind. Thank you all. God bless you.
Awesome.
One like this, and then I'm gonna ask you to scrunch in, and we'll do one horizontal, because Facebook prefers those. There we go. Great, thank you.
Congratulations. Oh, Mike. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful.
Mr. Chairman, could I get a picture?
Oh, my goodness, yes, yeah.
I want to be able to, you know, put it, we've got a Facebook page.
There we go.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Danny, thank you, Rita. Thank you.
Ty, we asked.
I grew up in Shadow Ford International.
Give me his gavel.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
We ask you don't give him any extra titles either. We gotta deal with the aftermath, all right?
I guess he's a chairman for the day.
A fine gentleman, we'll leave it at that.
All right, we need to have Mike again.
Yep, just finish up with the, consider purchase for a fleet management vehicle. It is for Don Franklin. It is a Dodge Ram 2500. It's a gas engine for $48,500 on a state contract price.
And this is for,
Fleet management for Tommy,
okay,
Four-wheel.
four-wheel drive. Yes.
and he needs this truck for,
Fleet management.
okay, all right.
Are we surplusing the truck he has now?
Okay, all right. That's-
Is it gonna be sold, or do you know yet?
No, I mean, we could sell it, yeah. We could surplus it and sell it.
How many miles on the one you're going to surplus?
Over 100,000. It's a 2008, it was Lenny Shepherd's original emergency management vehicle. Just to show you the age.
So mainly he's getting this so he can go pick up equipment needed, tow
Equipment
stuff.
needed, yeah. Service calls, very frequently he does service calls for the sheriff's office and us. He saved us from the parking lot one time, several times.
Yeah. People just kind of need to know why it is that size
Yeah.
truck.
Yeah.
We get questions.
Tools, equipment, jacks, heavy stuff.
Everything he has to load up in there just
Yeah.
to,
Most of the camper top that he has on his truck now in the bed thing that pulls in and out will be taken out of it and put in on the new truck. So we on purposely made it where it would work and save a little bit of money there.
make a motion, we approve.
Motion by Magistrate Cullen, approval of the vehicle. Do I hear a second?
Second, please.
Second by Magistrate Harmon.
There you go.
Any discussion on the motion? I hear a vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous decision.
Thank you.
Now go forward. Payment on demand.
Payment, oh, yep.
Look at that.
Vehicle
Tell you
purchase,
what.
paid on
They
delivery.
better watch out.
Thank you.
Good job.
And next we have Planning and Zoning Director Mikaela Gerry. Good morning.
Good morning,
Welcome.
how are you all?
Good morning.
All right, I've got two ordinances for you all this morning. So this would just be, I'm not sure, has Chris wrote up that ordinance for you all yet, or?
Yes, yeah, we got the draft, I think.
What?
Has
I'm
Chris,
sorry.
did Chris Herron write up the ordinances for you all,
It was in our,
for first reading, or is this just gonna be?
My
You know what I'm
understanding,
saying?
we're here for first reading on them today.
He did not give me anything.
Okay.
Or me.
Or you.
Yeah.
We'll,
I guess
we'll
we'll
talk
just-
this with Chris.
We'll entertain discussion then.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so the first ordinance that Planning Commission made a recommendation to the Fiscal Court for is medical cannabis. We talked about this briefly at the last meeting when I was here. So this is the actual ordinance in place. The city commission heard this for the first time last night. I can just kind of go through our use table a little bit. So that would be on that first page, that graph that you all see there, or that table that you all see there. So again, tier 1, tier 2 cultivators, that's anything under 10,000 square feet. We're showing that as permitted in the agricultural zoning district as well as all of our industrial zoning districts. Tier 3 and tier 4 cultivators. Tier 3 is from 10,000 to under 50,000 square feet. Tier 4 is 50,000 and above. My understanding is right now the state's not permitting tier 4 cultivators, but just in case in the future that changes, we'll have some regulations on it. So I'm showing that as a conditional use in the agricultural zoning district, so that would require it to go through Board of Adjustment to get approval for the use, and then it go through Planning Commission for site plan approval and things like that. As well as permitted in the industrial zoning district. So the cultivators are where they grow the product. So this all takes place indoors, so it's going to have a little bit more of a warehouse feel than what you would typically think of for agricultural production. Cannabis dispensary, so that's the retail component of this use. We were showing that as permitted in the highway business zoning district as well as the all of our industrial zoning districts. So highway business is our most intensive commercial zoning district. That's what you see along the bypass, most of 4th Street, things like that. Julie just asked why we didn't put that in the downtown district. So that typically is the central business district. I base this ordinance off of what I saw other people in the region doing, and it seemed like they were doing only more of their more intensive commercial districts like what we're showing here. I think there's a lot of unknowns with how this use is going to look as we kind of go through this process. So if we feel that's restrictive in the future, I think that's something that we could revisit and bring it back. Obviously, we have the hospital downtown in the central business district, so it might be something that we need to consider, but for right now, this was the proposal that the Planning Commission brought forward, but if you have any concerns about that, we can talk about it. No? Okay.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, I guess we could talk about it, but I'm just trying to think about this. I was reading it last night. I was trying to figure out. I think some of the idea of this, the dispensaries, you know, are going to fit in sort of like, you know, your typical pharmacy, which, you know, would be allowed in the central business district.
Yeah, we pretty much allow that in all of our commercial districts right now for
pharmacies
and other retail.
And that's kind of where I'm figuring that this would fit in as well. And, you know, if you had a pharmacy existing that added an arm, something like this, to what they do, you know, they would have to put their whole business somewhere else if it wasn't already allowed.
Could you do a conditional use permit in the downtown district where you would at least consider it?
Yep. Yeah, we absolutely could. I think it's something that Danville would have to approve, obviously, because if we just did it at the fiscal court, it would be only applicable for, well, no, not even fair, but only for unincorporated Boyle.
Okay.
So you all don't have any central business in the unincorporated county.
But, you know, a lot of
places. To be honest, I struggled with that a lot, deciding whether to bring it forward or not. But like I said, I just didn't see anyone else showing it in their downtown district, so that's why I just opted to keep it for the more intensive commercial. I think right now.
Like, so where would you envision it being? Like in our county, you know, in knowing the districts and knowing what's allowed, where do you?
I don't envision you all getting a dispensary.
I don't either.
To be honest.
But
I think
they're limited, yeah.
There's only 6, and fake it's 2. And
mathematically, we're most likely to get a dispensary of all the uses, but I just don't see the unincorporated county
Yeah.
getting a dispensary. I think if you all were to get one of these uses, it would be from the ag district, so it'd be the cultivator that you're looking at. So it'd be, you know, that permitted for tier 1, tier 2, and then the conditional for tier 3, tier 4. But yeah, I mean, I think if we got a dispensary, I would envision it either on the bypass or on 4th Street for the most part. We have some industrial also along the bypass, like West Ridge Road, you know, some of that kind of western portion of the bypass, so it could go there as well.
I guess my main question about this is, you know, for the longest time, we generally tried having one book when it comes to zoning, with a slight separation for specific things that the city and the county don't need. But when you're trying to, you know, for the layperson that comes in here, trying to navigate 2 different zoning books is a little difficult at times, and so that's why whenever we can have, you know, similar zoning books, it would be helpful for everybody involved. I struggle with the conditional use aspect only because that takes the city and the county government, the elected officials, out of the decision-making process. Goes through board of adjustments, and then that way that kind of limits the community's ability to speak. So conditional use permits aren't always my favorite because really we've tied our hands on us having the final say on things. And you're leaving it into the hands of people that are unelected, you know, that are just appointed. So that would be my only question. I mean, and we can revisit it. I'd be interested to see what the city is going to do on it. And maybe we follow back up after the city.
Yeah, I mean, the city recommended approval for this ordinance last night, but it was not first reading. They do a discussion meeting first, and then they do first and second reading. So they're proceeding forward with the idea that they're gonna do first and second reading at the next 2 meetings. I can't guarantee that nothing will change between then and now, but at least my perception from the meeting last night was that we're gonna proceed forward with how this is presented for the city.
Okay.
So.
All right. What do you need from us today?
I just need approval of this. If you all feel comfortable with it, this would just get something in place. Obviously, the permitting opened up on July 1. My understanding is that they're issuing permits on October 1, and businesses can start operating on January 1. So I think for this cycle, for this year, this is what would be in place. Then we would kind of have a year to see how businesses are operating in other communities as well. And if we feel that we're being way too restrictive on the retail aspect of it, then I think we can amend this. Yeah, this doesn't have to be the final version. It just gets us something in place for now.
Right. I don't want to take away the opportunity for something to happen, you know, by having to have multiple readings and going down that road to change something or whatever. And I'll actually take back my statement because, you know, we've proven over and over again that, you know, we are a hub. Danville is a hub for multiple areas, and so we actually could be in the running of having one. So I wouldn't say I wouldn't either. So I'll go ahead and make a motion that we, you know, move on this.
Make a second.
Motion made by Magistrate Cullen on moving forward.
Second.
And second by Magistrate Bodner. Any further discussion? Any comments? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Once again, to remind everybody, this is for edibles only. There's medical marijuana is not allowed to be smoked.
I'm glad, and I hope that the advocate and others will report that as such, because I still have the reservations that I've expressed in previous meetings about this, so thank you. You have more? Yeah.
I do. I have one more amendment for you all. This is just a minor amendment to
a hot topic here.
Yeah, for gravel parking. So this is just going to be applicable in the industrial zoning districts. We already have this language in place for the industrial zoning districts that gravel parking can be used as an alternate parking surface for trucks or heavy equipment. So when you're thinking of an industrial use that they're operating with bigger trucks or heavy equipment, we basically provide for this opportunity to do gravel parking areas, so, you know, with all that trucks and heavy equipment, it can really wear down the pavement and things like that. So this is something that we already have in place, but currently we require curb and gutter on the gravel. We also require travel ways to be paved. We've had several businesses that have had, you know, trouble with the way this is written because, as the city engineer explained, curb and gutter and gravel actually is the exact opposite of what you want to do from a drainage perspective, from an engineering perspective, so it doesn't make much sense, as well as it being expensive. It's kind of a prohibitive regulation that we've got, as well as the travel ways. The intent of this is so that you don't have to keep repaving when you're storing this trucks and heavy equipment. So this would just be applicable in the industrial zoning district, and we'd just be removing those two requirements for.
What kind of base is required for gravel? Because if it's not done properly, then there are all kinds of problems with it too.
They have to submit for a zoning permit if they were to do this, so it would be reviewed by planning commission and the engineer to make sure that it would be draining properly and, you know, graded properly, those types of things. So it's not removing them from having to go through that review process. It's just basically when they're doing the site plan, they have to show appropriate parking areas for employees, things like that. But if they wanted to put on the side or rear of their building, and it has to meet our landscaping requirements, if they're operating with trucks and heavy equipment, then we could give them this waiver. So it'd still go through all the same review processes.
Would there, so how does this work into our new solar requirements?
If solar is operating with trucks or heavy equipment, then they could ask for this alternative parking surface if they meet that requirement.
Trying to think, so they've constructed, they've done everything they can with the heavy equipment. Once the heavy equipment is no longer on site, will we then require them to pave and have proper runoff and everything on any access roads they need to perform maintenance or whatever?
Yep, all access roads would need to be paved. This is the only instance in our zoning ordinance that we allow for gravel for parking areas or travel ways, things like that. If it's a storage area, that might be a different conversation, but for parking and travel way areas, this is the only instance that would be allowed. So unless for some reason they're storing or using heavy equipment on a day-to-day basis for solar, which I don't envision, they won't be able.
I just want to make sure that they're going to have to at least pave or put the proper drainage in after they've constructed. I don't know, because it's all going to happen on industrial.
Yeah.
Magistrate Cullen, yeah, I think I was confused at first, but now with your clarification, it's more than a restoration as we would do to put solar back to farmland. You're saying that there would be an added cost to anybody in solar if they vacate the property for something else in the future, that they would have an added cost to pave what they are now abandoning, correct?
Not necessarily that, it's the initial construction phase. I'm sure they would have gravel and utilize gravel, but I was mainly making sure that they're not going to be able just to leave it as gravel once they've finished. They would have to go paving and proper drainage along whatever service roads they have.
Critical that they know that on the front end.
The ordinance. Yeah. So, okay.
I'll make a motion, we approve the amendment to the joint zoning ordinance.
Motion made by Magistrate Bodner.
Second.
Second by Magistrate Sleeper. Any discussion? Any further comment? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And I saw something the other day, I don't know whether it was in the Advocate. What's the status now of solarized Boyle? I think they've asked for some sort of an extension from what I saw.
I am not aware of that.
Have you had any activity from them?
I have not, no. Most residential solar does not come through planning commission. They deal with building inspectors, so you might need to talk to Rusty Cox.
So they don't have to notify you in any way?
Sometimes they call and ask questions, but no, they just have to meet our accessory structure requirements, and I think they have to get some type of building or electrical permit, but We don't deal with
Residential.
single-family residential typically unless we're doing a subdivision or something like that, so.
Okay.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Elena, we'll interrupt our regular agenda for a
Sorry,
moment.
y'all. So our postage machine in the office is not working. We're waiting on a tech to come in now, but he has a job in Louisville that he's currently going to. There's a possibility he may not make it to the office this afternoon. I have no stamps. We don't keep stamps on him because we use a postage unit. I would like permission to go buy at least 5 books of stamps, which is $14.60 a piece. It's gonna be $73.
I know.
But I don't want $3 million worth of checks. Wait.
I make a motion to let you go by $70.
Thank you.
Or how much?
Yeah, thank you.
I'll second it.
Thank
Motion
you.
by Magistrate Bodner, second by Magistrate Cullen to purchase $73.
$73 worth of stamps.
Five books of stamps, just in case
Books,
there's
yeah. Yes.
mismath on that.
Mismath.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank y'all.
Thank you,
I
Elena.
appreciate it.
You want to squeeze in a
And,
bottle of water
Casey-
down there while you're at it?
Steve, I'll take this out there.
Who we looking for?
Casey, record it.
Oh, okay.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
Good.
Good.
I'm just here for one to present our second quarterly report. No issues or anything with it. I'm just here to.
Make a motion, we acknowledge.
Motion by Magistrate.
Second.
Second by Magistrate Harmon. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And, yes.
Second, I'm here just to kind of update you all on where the election security detail that I started back a little bit after the primary election. I've got it worked out with the sheriff. I had a meeting with Taylor, and he's agreed that since that day is a federal election and there's no schools in session on that day, we're going to be able to use the SROs as a uniformed officer or deputy be sitting at 3 of the polling locations, and then any overtime that is acquired throughout that, our office is going to take care of out of our budget.
So they'd be getting their normal daily pay regardless.
Regardless.
And then we'd only hit the overtime.
And that saves, I guess the best way of looking at it as them being county employees already, I guess you'd say double dipping kind of thing is the term that I ran into, inquiring about how I would get deputies paid if they did, since they were already considered county employees. As far as the other locations, Parable's going to be taken care of by Chief Hatter. Parker's going to take care of Parable Baptist Church, and I've talked to Captain Down that said that he's willing, and they're going to take care of two other locations, First Christian Church and RECC. So I've worked out with their policies and stuff. I can pay them straight from our office to the officer. Same goes with Parker, since they're not county employees. So that will put a uniformed officer and a marked cruiser at every voting center for this for early voting and for election day. So it's more there to make people feel safer. Not to say anything's going to happen, just precaution, and maybe make somebody feel better, a little easier self as they go in to vote. So
That's good.
All right. Thanks, sir.
that's all right.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate it.
Jackie.
Down there.
Okay.
Yeah, she's coming.
Hello again.
Good morning.
Okay, so I just have this to be acknowledged by the court. It's the treasurer's settlement for 23-24. We
were able to balance this from the bank statements. It was a little difficult not to do it any other way, so this is strictly off bank statements. And it's not broke down completely like it needs to be, but it's as good as we could get with what we have.
Motion to acknowledge.
Motion by Magistrate Cullen to acknowledge.
Second.
Second by Magistrate Bodner. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Jackie.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Jackie.
I'd like to say that that's 14 bank accounts that she had to reconcile for the year. So it wasn't just one, it was 14.
And on this is for 23, 24, on 22, 23, it was a little more difficult, so we don't have an actual report to give you at this time. We are trying to work on that, but
Can't imagine.
we did the best we could do.
Yes, I've done John's business, and you'd go through one way and they come out 95 cents instead of 96. You gotta find, it's rough.
And
It's
I
really rough.
spent quite a bit of time doing that. So,
I can imagine.
but we got it, so everything's
We
good.
appreciate it
Thank
so
you all.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie.
All right, Shannon.
14 accounts.
Just present the fourth quarter report to be acknowledged.
Make a motion to acknowledge.
Motion made by Magistrate Cullen to acknowledge the fourth quarter report.
Second.
Second by Magistrate Harmon. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Next
Yeah.
report.
Is the Air Med Care agreement, that is air evac that the county provides for all our employees membership.
What's the dollar amount, do we know?
It is $72 per employee.
So that has not risen, has it?
It did.
Oh,
I think it was like
This year.
60.
It was 60.
Oh,
It
okay.
did this
Yeah.
year. We had it at 60 for 2 years and it went up this year.
okay.
So about 13,000.
Many people may have gotten a new vehicle. Will they get new stickers, or do you
I have
have them
some
available?
stickers available and
Okay.
I can get
We
more.
have some more windows.
I need one.
Do we need a motion to?
I'll make a
accept that?
motion, we accept.
Magistrate Cullen has made the motion that we accept that report. Any second? Second by Magistrate Sleeper. Any discussion?
Well, the contract, I make a motion, we accept the new contract.
All right, to clarify that language. You accept that?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Folks, having friends who've unfortunately had to use this service, it is a great employee benefit. So,
It's a benefit, if I remember correctly, for them and their families, correct?
Anyone in their household.
Anyone in the household.
now that's an interesting concept. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Julie Wagner.
Yeah, a couple of things, and if you don't mind, Tom, I'll just go ahead and give my report afterwards, after these 3 items, if that's okay.
Sure.
Yeah, okay, so the first thing I have is the Mulberry Builders contract to replace the 3 roofs at Constitution Square that we did not do last year. These are the row houses. We budgeted $80,000 and the contract is for $79,175.80.
Make a motion, we approve the contract.
Motion made by Magistrate Cullen to approve the roofing contract.
Did we put this out for bid, or is this the only one we
This is
received?
the bid we got. Everything was bid last year. This is part of that bid.
Perfect.
We just couldn't afford to do it.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Magistrate Harmon. Any discussion? I just know that this has really dressed up Constitution Square thus far, and we'll add to that.
Well, this is for the row houses, so
I
this is.
understand.
You are. It's more than dressing up. It's going to stop deterioration.
Yeah, we've had leaking in several of the buildings, so really critical that we get this done. Any discussion?
How are we going to pay for it?
I budgeted $80,000.
No, but are we paying for it upon completion? Do they need
Yes.
a deposit?
No, I don't believe there's a deposit in there.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and I'll amend mine to pay upon completion.
Second, okay. This will be a little bit different storage area, or will it? Can they use the open area where we took the trees out? It's close enough, I would
It doesn't
think.
really say, a lot of the particulars, it says see proposal, and I don't have.
Okay,
to
well,
pull
we
their
we
bid.
can just coordinate with them, they've been very cooperative.
They were excellent on the other project. The one problem we've had is some of the gutter guards were disturbed when they put the new roof on. And I told him before we signed this contract, those needed to be fixed or put back under, and he was gracious enough to say absolutely, so. Yeah.
We've had a motion, second. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Likewise. Take care. Thank you.
All right, the second thing I have is the contract for the survey work for Old Stanford Road, the road we're accepting in. The cost to do the surveying pins and everything is $13,700. This will come out of professional services in the budget, and it's under, I can give you the line item in the budget if you want it. It's 01-9100-30900, so, yeah.
Any
Motion
discussion?
we approve.
Motion by Magistrate Cullen, second by Magistrate Bodner. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Okay, the last item says jail contracts, and it's a little complicated. When Brian was here on June 11th, you were looking in your packet at a contract for House Bill 556. What Brian presented to you was the jail SAP contract. You did not have that in your packet. It was totally flipped. So what I think we should do, and also he reported that the revenue for jail SAP was going to be about $360,000, and it ended up it's $302,000. So I just felt like we need to review these separately and vote separately on them for the record. So the first agreement is House Bill 556, which is one of the grant funding programs that we thought we were going to have to amend the budget, but then we ended up getting to slip it in. And so if you could review, approve House Bill 556 contract with the state, that would be great.
Make a motion we approve House Bill 556.
Motion made by Magistrate Cullen. Second by Magistrate Harmon. Any discussion?
Yes, in the contract, it has our old treasurer information on there.
I saw that, I'm going to
Change
send that in. Yeah.
Any
I
other
really feel like
discussion?
that should be the judge executive that gets these, so.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Okay, and the second is your SAP agreement, and the SAP agreement is for the amount of $302,532.80, and that's through June 30th, 2026.
So did we do a motion, and we didn't do it?
You did not approve, you heard about this, but
Right.
you approved this, so we're just trying to clean it up.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. I make a motion, accept.
Motion made by
Sap.
Magistrate Bodner,
Second.
second by Magistrate Harmon.
Yeah.
Any discussion?
There again, it's got the old contact.
Yeah.
information
Yeah.
from the old treasurer.
This is part of what subsidizes our program with the Shepherd's House, and so we're meeting with them next month. Their contract is up at the end of September, so this kind of helps that negotiation or whatever, so.
We haven't heard much from Shepherd's House.
I know. I would like to talk about that at some point before we sign that contract.
That would be good.
Yeah. Okay, just a couple other things.
We
that
haven't voted.
Oh, go ahead and vote.
Any further discussion? Aye. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
I'll just give you a quick punch list of some things I'm working on. I've pulled out everything to start writing the draft for Chris of the vehicle ordinance for the vehicle rental, insurance tax ordinance. I've got all that ready to start working on. The net profit minimum balance ordinance, I should have that to you in the next week or two. Okay. The body armor grant, I'm working on trying to find a grant for body armor. There was an announcement that there was some state funds, so we're hoping to get that for our new mental health team. working on the RFP for the doors and windows at Constitution Square, because they all desperately need done, and it was budgeted. Here's something that I kind of need some help with you, is our online ordinance program that we just signed the contract for. There's a couple things. If we want to make any changes to any ordinance, we should probably do that in the next 2 to 3 months before they upload and work on those, okay? So I'm thinking the ethics committee said they wanted to make some changes, so I notified them. I know Angie wants to make some changes to her ethics or her solid waste ordinances. So is there anything else that you can think of that we would want to take a look at? If you could just be thinking about that.
Could you send an email to everybody?
Yes.
And we can respond that way?
Yeah.
To start, because will this also upload our administrative code as well?
No.
Okay.
But it will upload the planning and zoning code.
Yeah.
So that, the problem is we can choose to upload our ordinances. You can update your ordinances 6 months or every year. And so we don't do enough ordinances to ask for the quarterly update.
Right.
So if we pass a change, it would be almost a year possibly before it gets uploaded. So I'm thinking let's do a quick review of all of our ordinances, and I'll send you the list of ordinances. I have a spreadsheet with all the numbers.
Wonderful.
And just a tickler reminder to kind of let me know if there's anything you've been thinking about that might need some work.
And we just probably need to have some sort of disclosure on there that states, you know, ordinances may have changed. Please check with the fiscal court office before, you know, whatever.
This entity that we've contracted with is pretty savvy at how they do these. They review them, they have legal review them to make sure they don't, conflict with anything. But the one thing they said is, if you put something up there, it's very difficult to change your mind. So when they number we're gonna have to meet with Chris about the numbering of the ordinances, because they wanna use a different numbering system than we do. So it's complicated to do it, but once we get it done, it's gonna be awesome for the public to be able to go in there and look. So, but I've just been thinking about what do we need to do about some of these ordinances we've been talking about changing. Probably need to do it really quick. So, well, I guess that's kind of it. We're working on the restricted account. I've got to go down the basement and start auditing what Mercer County put into that jail restricted account, and see if we can piece together exactly how much we owe them, and we'll have to close that out. So that's kind of a short list of some things that we're working on and trying to get caught up on everything. So, and I am working on vehicle use policy. I'll tell you that. Okay, so Katina brought me this contract. I had forgotten about it. It's the health department agreement with the detention center. The original agreement you had was with Boyle and Mercer, and so this contract is just with Boyle. And I believe it's in their pack. It's in there.
Yes, it is.
So we just need approval for the county to sign on with the health department for
It's
the
the
jail.
same one that they approved last time, but Mercer County is taking it out of the.
I'll make a motion that we approve that with the name removal.
Great. Thank you.
I'll second.
Motion made by Magistrate Collins, second made by Magistrate Sleeper. Any discussion? Comment?
It's a good move.
Pardon?
It's a good move.
Thank you.
One should have been done years ago.
Great move. Well, that jailer we had back then, couldn't get anything in through him. Oh, man.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Julie, did you have any more?
No, I think that's
Oh, okay.
good.
Glad to see you breathing again.
I know what's going on.
You have before you
I was gonna say
a
big
Boyle
shocker.
County Emergency Medical Service financial sheet. That's just to be acknowledged, so
You want it acknowledged?
I guess we could
I'll make
formalize
a
it.
motion we acknowledge. I haven't given a motion in a little bit.
Motion by Magistrate Collins,
Oh, I can
second by Magistrate Sleeper. Any discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
What I'd like to acknowledge more than anything is the excellent service that, I mean, we are a blessed community with the people that that we have at the helm as far as our first responders go. And when I say first responders, I'm going to include, public works and environmental services. Everybody we have here that's an employee puts forth their best effort because they truly care about this community. EMS, they constantly amaze. I'll speak for Magistrate Bodner on this, both of us, when they come with these new ideas and the things they want to do to better our community. And it's always a great honor to sit in that committee and see the ideas they have to care for the people of Boyle County.
I totally agree with that. All right, Paula, let's start with you in the round robin.
Well, we continue with our Junction City group. I keep having new members every time, and I like seeing young faces, middle-aged, older, my age group. So I just like how we're all really engaged, and nobody's just really sitting there and not commenting. Everybody's commenting, so it's really fun to be at this grassroots. But I've told them I want them to, after we get our big party in the park, which I invite everybody to, it's September 21st. We've got it all planned, food trucks, face painting, a movie. We haven't decided which movie. I think it's between 3 movies now, but we're just going to have a lot of fun. The football players are going to be there, but the cheerleaders are going to be there. The church mission's going to do the little face painting, and we're going to have the cruise in, 911 cruise in. Air evac's going to be there if they're not in flight. And so it's just a kickoff to start getting our park back up to par. And I'm waiting on a letter of support from the Boyle County Board, so I went to their meeting the other night, and they're all 100% yes, this needs to be done. And so they want to get a BG1. Everything takes a little time. You have to go through the steps, and they said, let's just get this BG1 completed before you tear down the pavilion. So we said, okay. Of course, they own the land. Junction City leases it for has leased it for 99 years. And so we're going to look at the BG1 in a couple weeks. But we're going to still have the kickoff and have it, get us started. Had some comments about, as always, the convenience centers, and let's see. I'm trying to think. Someone mentioned some trees that need to be trimmed back for the buses to keep the buses safe. And I believe that's it. We're getting ready to kick off the football season. My other grandson's senior year, and then my Avery's first year in college will kick off pretty soon. And of course, I've got my granddaughter and softball, and that'll be later on, and the little ones. So I'm just glad to see all the kids going back to school and getting back in and having fun with their sports. That's all I've got.
We should make sure Julie or Katina has a flyer for
Yes,
parks.
yes,
That way they can put it on Facebook
I'm going to
page.
send it to Dan will ask for it. And
on the doors.
Yes.
And also make sure Bill has it so that way he can
Yes.
post it on the website.
Yeah, we're getting really good. I think we're gonna have a really good turnout. I don't think we'll have 10,000 like Danville had, but we'll take as many as we can get. Thank you.
Okay.
Good to see the park revised.
Yes.
I was there at the beginning. A lot of work went into it, and a lot of people left. It's good to see people back, citizens. They want it, and that's very important. Highway 150. Tom, you and I got the start of it out of Danville, and you got the rest of it. But hopefully the state is going to do something.
I have had more concern and complaints on that than any other road in the county, and we have others that have equal problems.
Yeah.
2 months ago, I drafted something to Secretary Gray. You've heard, as I have, when he's been at meetings, don't worry about going to District 7 or 8 or 9 or 10. Here's my cell phone number. I parked that 2-month-old email But Sunday afternoon, after church, I took some movies of 150, and I'm strongly considering beefing up that email and sending it directly to Secretary Gray. With $79.9 million worth of tourism and people coming from all over the world, and we've got the battlefield celebration October, I think it's an embarrassment to see more grass growing in the emergency lane than in my front yard.
Would a
So-
joint letter be appropriate where the whole court?
I would love that.
Well, if we're to do that, can we add 34 on the front end right there by Old Bridge?
And
Because that
37,
is-
I mean, we
and
could put,
52.
we could put a letter together to say.
I think that would be great.
I'll
because
get
it
first.
is bad.
I'll get first with Julie, then
Yeah.
with the judge, and we'll consider
I would
this
spend-
because we argue that Harrodsburg or Boyle County is the epicenter of the state, but we're the epicenter of a lot of visitors, and it's embarrassing to drive that last quarter mile into Garyville and see grass.
It's not only that, it's what we do to our taxpayers that have to then have extra service done on their vehicles.
Right.
Because of the rough roads. I mean, you know, it's embarrassing for visitors, but you know, we should be, we're here to advocate for our taxpayers as well. And you know, while we could very easily go through the normal channels of trying to get Daniel or Amanda to fix these things, I think going through Secretary Gray and Kelly is the right thing to do because it's their responsibility.
And we will make sure to add our senator and representative.
Send the video
to
to
that
them.
letter.
I
Yeah.
mean, send the
Yeah.
video to them. It's really.
Magistrate Harmon, thank you for bringing that up. Thank you. Anything more?
That's all.
New restaurants?
No.
I've heard the White Castle is not coming.
Still no
Heard
way.
that for 30 years.
It's aisle 16 of your local grocery stores. You get all the White Castle you want right there.
Frozen.
Yeah, probably better than the actual real ones.
Magistrate Cullen.
So Julie, you mentioned the vehicle use ordinance. Will that also include making sure that all county vehicles are labeled?
No, I was gonna put that in the internal vehicle policy that we're writing. The vehicle use
Okay.
is for the rental, the
Oh, yeah.
Uber
Yeah,
and all
yeah.
that. But yeah, I have pulled a bunch of documents to try to write a
Yeah,
policy.
because we discussed it before, I think it's very appropriate to make sure that every vehicle that's out there, with exception of like, you know, an undercover sheriff's vehicle, maybe, I don't know, but any vehicles that are being used by county employees has the insignia on there, and that gives a little confidence to the taxpayers again that we're watching vehicle usage, because vehicle usage also equals gas and miles and possible insurance issues. So every vehicle that's, you know, with maybe one exception, needs to be stickered. I don't want a magnet.
Right.
I want an
You want
actual
vinyl.
vinyl sticker
Yeah.
put on there that signifies this is a county vehicle that should only be used for county purposes.
And are we trying to get a list of what each department has, every vehicle? I mean, do we?
We have a list.
Everyone
I think
has.
Elena has that.
Elena has
in
a
the
list.
inventory.
But she's added all these vehicles we've had over the last 2
She's
years.
taken off the ones we've sold.
Okay, I would like, I'd like to see that. I
Okay,
really would.
okay.
It's
I'd like to
there
see that.
because, you know, it's also important we insure every one of those vehicles.
Right.
Some of these departments, like the sheriff's office, may buy their own vehicles through various things, but we insure them. And then also extra usage on them requires being purchased more often. And that kind of goes back to a question, I don't know who would answer this, but people that do receive vehicles from the county, are they getting a 1099 on these vehicles?
They should.
Okay.
I don't know, I guess we need to really look into that, maybe that's part of our policy, because I did notice that some of the other policies that pulled does say that, if you're using it as your home to work vehicle, that is considered income.
Yeah,
Yes.
So,
it is.
And it's
I don't know if we're
on the
doing.
payroll goes through its taxable fringe
Okay.
payroll.
What is it? Taxable what?
Fringe.
Fringe, okay.
So it's coming out of their paycheck, or I mean, it's taxed on their paycheck?
It's taxed on their paychecks, yes.
And you have an accurate list of everybody that has one? I think that's
It's been
really,
a while, but
I think that's really one we need to look at to make sure that everybody's reporting.
Right.
That maybe that gets talked about in one of the district head meetings or the department head meetings to make sure they have updated.
I know there's one department that I talked to particularly was concerned that they go out and do a lot of reconnaissance on conditions of the roads, and they're like, you know, if I go out and I have a marked vehicle, I'm just mobbed on some areas. People come out, they want to know. So we might want to just talk about that at some point, maybe sit down and look and see how you feel about the one department that I talked to. But yeah, I'll get something to you here soon.
And then I talked about it a little earlier today with our future astronaut, Zyler, but we have Young Eagles Day this Saturday out at the airport. And make sure you sign up soon because those spots fill up quickly. An opportunity, I think it's like 10 to 17-year-olds that can go and experience what it's like to fly in a plane. Luckily, the county attorney will not be flying anybody. He's out there getting lessons, but it's good to see. We've got the Constitution Square Festival coming up in September, and our tire collection event is the 12th through the 14th. I think it sounds like Mercer's having one as well soon after that, which is kind of confused a little people. But and then it's not for our community, but it's awesome to go see. So I'm going to invite everybody down to Lake Cumberland. Somerset is having an air show on the 21st of September. They had one, I think it was 2 years ago, took last year off. They're having it again this year. They're in the process of actually repaving part of their ramp and everything, so they're trying to get that done prior to this event. But the one I went to a couple years ago was fantastic. So they even had a MiG jet coming through there and breaking the sound of air.
Any chance they'll bring back that B-17?
I don't know. I'm not sure that's all there. You can go on the lake. There's a events page which will tell you everything they've got going on. But it's a fantastic event as well. So, and I think that is all I have.
Thank you, sir. Magistrate Sleeper.
The tire thing you talked about, also the household hazardous waste will be Saturday, August 24th, from I think it's like 8:30 to 12:30 or something. I don't remember the exact times, but anyway, so if you have household hazardous waste like paint, things like that, oil, things of that nature, you bring them into the services building, to the recycling place.
On the bypass.
On the bypass. Ross Gray, a constituent of mine, contacted me, and he's owner of the Command Post Food Trailer, and he's planning an event, and he wants to donate 100% of the proceeds to a local children's charity. So I'd like to receive suggestions and provide him with a list that he can choose from. And once the details have been determined, then we can promote that event for a local children's charity, whatever the choosing is. I attended the ribbon cutting and grand opening of the Jenny Rogers Community Center on August 9th. It is truly an amazing facility. It's a real asset to our community. Attended the Soul 2nd Street on Saturday, August 10th at Constitution Square. Is an amazing event. I think Michael Thomas-Hughes and his team did an amazing job. It was a huge success. Attended the local governor's issues conference, as did many of others of us, August 7th through the 9th in Louisville. Number of remarkable educational sessions, and a great deal of knowledge was gained that will help us, I think, for the betterment of Boyle County. And the conference was wrapped up with an inspirational message from UK men's basketball coach Mark Pope. And the Boyle County Homeless Task Force met on August 6th. The task force has created a Boyle County Homeless Coalition. The creation of the coalition was a positive step that will enable the development and funding of homeless initiatives from the private sector and grants and such. Heart of Kentucky United Way will serve as the fiscal agent for the coalition. They waived their 4% fee to help them with that administrative fee. And then the coalition's board of directors made up of the following. Chair is Dr. Colin Ratier, Vice Chair Dr. Bart Ramsey, Secretary Sue Andrus, Treasurer Jen Gonder, Public Information Officer Amy Annison, and large members include Jason Smith and Debbie Thurnell. So with this, the task force will eventually be phased out, will no longer be necessary as the coalition takes over. KACO has announced that submissions for the 2024 I Love My Kentucky Art Contest will open August 12th through September 30th. It's open to all kindergarten through 8th grade students. The guidelines, criteria, requirements, prize information, contest submission form are available on the KACO website. First prize is $250. If you have any questions, you can contact Rebecca Jackson at rebecca.jackson@caco.org. This would be a great event for us as the court to promote among the schools of our community. We had our animal control, regular scheduled animal control meeting yesterday, August 12th. We met, and Shelter Director Sissy Sloan, Magistrate Jamie Gay, and myself were there in attendance. A personnel matter was discussed. It has been suggested that more county rabies clinics be held, and so we're looking at 4 more for our county. Those are going to be planned, and the information on those will be forthcoming. The shelter is over capacity with sometimes 2 to 3 dogs being held in the same kennel. So we need to really promote fostering and adoption among our community members. It was reported that Danville County Humane Society is doing, quote, doing a great job, and things are working well between the 2 organizations. Volunteers have been a huge blessing to the animals and the operation of the shelter. Volunteers have been providing many hours of walking dogs, which has had a great calming effect on the dogs, and the benefits of the dogs physically and emotionally, and also it serves to present them as more adoptable. So we're thankful for our volunteers. That is my animal control report that I make a motion to be accepted by the court.
Second. Motion made by Magistrate Sleeper on the animal control report, second by Magistrate Cohen. Any discussions? Any comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I have a report too, Tom. I neglected to read whenever you swing back to me.
Magistrate Sleeper, any more?
Oh, I'm sorry, that's it.
Okay.
All right.
Entertain a motion.
Magistrate Bodner and myself met with the EMS committee this morning. It was with the 2 of us, Director Rogers, Mr. Dunn, Mr. Smith, Mo, and we talked about the fleet management vehicle purchase, which was approved today. Runs for July are up a little bit. They're up to 591. They were hanging in the 550s and 560s there for a little bit. Mo gave an excellent update on the training that our staff goes through, and really why we are set apart from many in this area, especially those that are suffering issues with EMS, not too far from us. And then Terry gave an update. Terry and Mark did an update on their community outreach work. They're still very active in the community. One thing that really kind of caught my attention, I think it caught Paula's as well, was the amount of mental health cases they're responding to versus the amount of drug and alcohol issues that they're seeing. They're actually getting referrals. They got a couple referrals from New Vista, which just tells you the impact that these 2 individuals have had so far, that large mental health service companies like New Vista is reaching out to them for assistance. We are, again, very blessed to have them in the community, and grateful the thought of Director Rogers and those involved to get that grant. They also, Mo and Mike Mattingly were at a continuing education this past weekend, and they received, it was paramedic, what was it again? The extra endorsement they got.
I have it right here. Hold on.
Anyway, they're 2 of 14 in the state to get this.
Advanced Practice Community Paramedic Certification.
That's
I knew I'd never forget that.
That they received this extra endorsement. It was actually a very hard test that they had to take. Several people have been there for their second time trying to get it. These guys rocked it out, and so they are 2 of 14 in the whole state that have this extra paramedic certification. So, oh, it's written right there, isn't it?
Yeah. I was like, I thought you had that.
How about that? So I go ahead and submit that for approval. That's my
Motion made by Magistrate Cullen on the EMS report. Do I hear a second? Second from Magistrate Bodner. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
And while I got the floor, 3rd Thursday this week, lemons and leftovers downtown here. And then I'll save my last one to see if Tom gets it. So we'll see.
All right, anybody to my right here? Any other reports from the attorneys?
Chris did not share anything to share with you all, so unless you have questions or anything I need to take to him, I'm not aware of anything that he has.
Katina, anything? All right. I have several folks.
Point of order.
The Boyle Landmark Trust joined the Birthplace of Kentucky Committee this past Monday, and of course I was there representing the court. They've come up with an interesting proposal, and I love the concept, but there's much to be discussed about it. Instead of the pavilion using the logs that have been in storage now for years, thanks to the city of Danville, they've now come up with the concept of putting back together the dog trot house. Basically, that's living quarters, and an open space in a 2-story, 200-year-old cabin. I'm very familiar with that construction. They're talking about the possibility of having and restoring, they don't know that they have the stones, 2-story stone chimneys. There are a lot of issues that would fall in place. Judge Bottom issued an email and mentioned there are some questions still about the ownership of those logs. There's definitely the need for anything that would go on Constitution Square to go before the Heritage Council. There's some debate as to whether or not they marked the logs when they took them down. Some have said they are, some have said they're not. There's definitely a need because they took small windows probably 100 years ago and modernized the house and made them very large windows, which means replacement logs would be needed at a cost, which would affect the aesthetics of the building once it would be put back, which was brought up by one of the Birthplace of Kentucky committee members. Certainly a pro forma that not only would be approved by the Heritage Council regarding the overall cost of building, that the judge mentioned in her email that they would need to have proof in hand of non-governmental finances before anything was to be considered. And there's interestingly a survey that was done by a professor at Eastern Kentucky University where he, with some medical or scientific methodology, was able to age the logs. And the discussion the other night was that he was never paid. So is there a hanging debt out there that needs to be researched and found? I personally understand stone construction and some of the projections that they're talking about the cost of putting up the building. I think this is all the more reason that they need a cost pro forma before we could consider it as a court. And lastly, they had some ideas about putting this, and it's a large structure, twice the size of this room, 2 stories high. Putting it between the McDowell House and across the road at the Governor's Circle. And I walked over there after the meeting, and I'm totally convinced that that's an inadequate place. But we did take down 2 trees next to Grayson Tavern where it could fit there. So there's a lot that would fall in place. I'm very enthusiastic about the concept. I like it a whole lot, personally, I like it a whole lot more than just the idea of using the logs for a pavilion, which would not keep the character of the original structure. But all that's under consideration and needs to be ironed out. When we were at the Governor's Local Issues Conference last week, I stayed for 20 minutes and talked to the tourism folks about a concept that we have something that could draw in worldwide attention, and that is the Jane Todd Crawford surgery that changed women's health care around the world. They were so enthusiastic about it that they talked about the economic development aspect of having a World Health Conference here in Danville and Boyle County. They have since coordinated with me and with Secretary of the Economic Development Cabinet, Noel, who spoke to us. He was quite impressive with his background and understanding of economic development and the inclusion of tourism. And they're accepting an invitation that the judge has informally allowed, which will formally invite Secretary Noel and perhaps at the same time the tourism folks to come and speak with Danville, Perryville, Junction, and all of Boyle County about an idea like this that could really put Boyle County on the map. So that's kind of exciting that they reacted that way. I noticed when I got here this morning that we have something here that's required by the auditor's office in Frankfurt that we have to attest to whether or not we've ever witnessed any type of fraud. So I call that to your attention if you haven't been to your mailbox. We're in the run out with Mercer County on the joint jail, which is now ended. And there are 2 aspects of that, and that's the normal run out of the inmates that we have. And then there's some contesting of a document that we believe says that we jointly went into our agreement on construction that took place some years ago. Mercer is debating that, so we'll be coordinating with Chris Herron's office on that. Certainly want to mention the State Fair is coming up, and most of us, I think, have signed up for at least one day. I guess one of the most exciting things, and I reported this to Julie just yesterday, the number of state limited, but federal seems unlimited grants that are out there. And the judge quickly told me that we have Julie on overload, but that we might have to contract outside on grant writing. Ran into an issue with a constituent who is elderly, widowed, and technically legally blind. And she had an emergency in the middle of the night, and I guess the call would only go to 911. But she found out, and she has a heart condition, and that's why she made the call to Lexington in the middle of the night to her physician and said, get over here immediately. Apparently, unless it's well expressed, well documented in some way, that just doesn't normally happen, that we take someone all the way to Lexington. So Mike and I talked about it, and everything from the ability to have someone to help represent you, even if it's in the middle of the night, to explain your circumstance, and then to have a health advocate perhaps at your church, where you could call people in the middle of the night if it's not qualified for the medical emergency that appeared to be the case in this constituent's circumstance. So that was a concern to me, and I'm going to get back with Mike and see if there's some things that we can work out in terms of details that people could make sure to share in a case like that. The judge talked to me about the fact that, interestingly, there is no Danville city ordinance on cutting and bundling debris from storms, tree debris and brush debris from that it be in 30-foot or 3-foot bundles. So we're going to be looking into that because it seems to have been an impediment sometimes with the pickup of storm damage within the city limits. So I know the judge is going to get back on that. Mr. Series, I got a call it was Sunday afternoon from a constituent who was out of town for a good number of days, came home to find out that her toilet had been running. She received a bill for over $800. And I'm hoping that there is some way, I know there's a swimming pool situation where it's not counted toward sewer, and I'm hoping that we can work with the city somehow on this. This is a woman who is of limited means, and it's a crisis situation with her. So having heard in the past that there's compensation possible if there's a swimming pool that's empty in the year, so I'll be getting with city officials on that one. Let's see. Animal control, we had one more incident out in my district. It was across the county line, but it's a crisis situation with what happened. Was it in Garrett County? That all the animals, and they're on worse than overload there. So October, first week, be prepared for the battlefield celebration. It will be big again this year. The Crawford House, we talked and sent that letter to Russ Meyer. The judge and I spoke personally with Russ Meyer, with Rocky Atkins, and she spoke with the governor about the possibility of taking that 4 or 5 acres that includes the Boy Scout camp and making that a county park. So it's moving forward at this point. It's almost one of those issues that's going so well you don't want to keep nudging it. But I walked down there yesterday with the gentleman who bought Crawford House, and it will be an extraordinary county park that anybody and everybody can use. If you're a kayaker, canoeist, when the water's up, you can access that. And then yesterday I received a call from Perryville from one of their council members that the county Public Works has not cleaned out the river for a number of years because it really hasn't been needing it. But with the water level almost at 0 right now, they're making a formal request that we consider getting Public Works out there and seeing what needs to be done. With that, when we reach, if there's no other discussion, when we reach adjournment, many of us know and dearly felt love for Eddie Caldwell, who passed away recently, and I would entertain a motion that when we come to adjournment, that we adjourn in his memory. Any other comments, questions?
I have something that just came up. Apparently an email has been sent out under Chris Heron's name, similar to the one you got, Tom, soliciting funds to buy gift cards. So he wants to make everybody aware that he is not asking for money to raise for gift cards, and that's some kind of scam. And so I just wanted to announce that. This
Thank
is
you for
happening a
that.
lot.
The amount, and interestingly, that we're getting this document about fraud and reporting it to the state. Recently, personally, a 10-year-old check from a closed bank account caused a woman 500 miles away in Pennsylvania to go to a bank seeking $7,200. Unfortunately, it was a closed account, but we involved the sheriff's office on it, and the level of fraud out there is unbelievable. 2 years ago, one of my constituents called me, and she said, "I've responded to your request." I said, "What request?" It was identical to this. This constituent had already purchased over $2,000 worth of cards at Walmart, and it was fraud. So it's well worth, especially those of us who have punched the Medicare card. I don't know of any of my friends at church who don't get something weekly, if not daily. And I've got a few on my phone already today. So my goodness, I hope the newspaper and the radio stations will help us to put an alert in. And Julie, you might want to make sure the next time that the judge is on the radio that, that you make this a #1 issue. It's a daily occurrence now. So, any other comments, questions?
Yep, this Saturday, Forkland Community Center kickoff picnic.
Yes, yes, please come. Thank you.
7 p.m.
Yeah.
Be karaoke. Tom's gonna be singing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that'll drive them away. So, all right. Any other?
I was just gonna make a motion.
Make it clear.
Yeah, that we, in honor of Eddie Coyle.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second from Magistrate Cullen. All those in favor of adjourning in the honor and memory of Eddie Caldwell signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Good job.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
Good job,
And
Thomas.
Magistrate Cullen, despite your